Well, guys, good evening. Welcome to the second part of our session and basically the final session in terms of content before our final exam that we have tomorrow, okay? We're going to finish officially Unit 12, and that also means that we are finishing our book. Next cycle, and of course the B1.5, we'd also have content from the new book that we will be using next week, of course. And well, that means that we are advancing in our process of becoming B1s, like a more independent user, and then moving to B2. Before we actually work on our work course, life in a new country, let me refresh your memory. Yesterday, we were watching this video. The idea was to take some notes about these two aspects in particular. I'm going to ask some of you to share your insights from what we watched yesterday, and then we would move to talk about our content that today is related to life in a new country. Okay, that is one thing. The second thing, let me also share my screen, sorry. I hate this Zoom bar. I already adjusted the groups, This is how you will be working on the speaking part that is going to happen tomorrow. I told you yesterday that until yesterday, 10 p.m., you could make any adjustments. We have 6 groups. Only one group would be in pairs, that is group number 6. Remember that this order doesn't reflect how we are going to start tomorrow. And remember once again that the grades are individual. And also don't forget that your camera has to be on, okay? That is mandatory. Let's put it like that. These are the groups, just for you to know, like the people you will be working with tomorrow, but that is already set. We can't make changes. I won't make changes actually. So I'm gonna display this slide while I take attendance. Give me a second while I find the chart. Today is the 27th. Gerson Arismendi.
Hi, teacher.
Gerson, more volume, more volume. Okay, Keiner Baez. I think I saw him. Keiner. Your mic is not working. Okay. There you are, but yeah, it doesn't work. I didn't listen. I mean, there wasn't any sound actually. Let's continue. Jean-Claude Barrera.
Present.
Okay. Cecil Calderon.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Natalia Camargo.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Andrés Camilo Correa.
Present, teacher.
Okay. Andrés Corredor.
Present, teacher. Teacher,
Okay.
I have to say sorry because yesterday I didn't enter, but I was really, really tired. I thought I just followed asleep and I didn't assist at the class.
I didn't attend.
Yes. And the other thing is that I think I have forget to put my name in the list of the groups.
Andrés, let me see. But didn't I put it? Maybe, did I repeat a name?
No.
Because you're 17.
Yes, but I was looking up and I didn't find my name.
Guys, but, well, I know that I didn't write down your name, but did I repeat a name, maybe? Let me display it again so you
No,
can
I
help
don't
me.
think so.
I'm gonna, You are supposed to be 17.
I took a screenshot and I send it.
¿No repetí ningún nombre?
No creo. Carlos, John.
Ustedes son 17. Debe sobrar uno.
Teacher, creo que José Gómez está dos veces. José
Sí,
Alejandro Gómez, la casilla 6 y José, la casilla 10.
Ah, sí, José
eso.
Alejandro y José Gómez.
Listo. Andrés, entonces usted queda acá.
Ok, teacher.
Thank you. Sí, porque es 6 por 3, 18, pero son 17. Tiene que estar alguno repetido. Thank you, Carlos. I think it was you. Very good.
Thank
Will I
you, teacher.
make the
I'm sorry.
adjustment? No, thank you for letting me know. Otherwise, we would have been confused tomorrow, and tomorrow we can't waste time.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll adjust this image also on the presentation, and that would be it. Very good. Let me go back to the chart of the attendance. Silvia Natalia Cuellar.
Present teacher.
Okay. Johan Alberto Duque.
Present teacher.
Okay. Elkin Darío Fernández.
Present teacher.
Okay. Julián Jesús Figueroa.
Present teacher.
Okay. Ginette Valentina Fontecha. Isn't Ginette here? Ah, okay, Ginette, thank you. Carlos Andrés Galán.
Present teacher.
Okay. Mabel y Juliet Gamboa.
Present teacher.
Okay. José Alejandro Gómez.
Here teacher.
Okay. Lizeth Carolina Tarazona.
Present.
Good. And Brian Camilo Vargas. He is not here. Okay. Well, guys, yesterday we began working on this. We finished our session talking about decisions, which was like the main topic. You created very interesting stories. And in this case, the video was talking about why we make irrational decisions. And it was explaining like different perspectives and different points of view. Among different concepts, we were talking about heuristics. And here we had 2 questions. And I told you, well, my invitation, wink, wink, homework, was for you to, based on what it was presented on the video, which could be the answers of those questions. Question number 1 was, do heuristics always lead to a wrong choice? And question number 2 was a little bit more philosophical and extensive. Heuristics can be advantages from an evolutionary perspective. Can you think of a scenario in which being guided by an intuitive decision is actually better than a careful analysis of the situation? So, any volunteers before I choose from the list? You could choose whether question 1 or 2.
Teacher, can I answer the first question?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. The question is, do heuristics always lead to a wrong choice? Heuristics is like intuitive question. So it can be effective in some situation when the decisions are not complex, but when they are, it's better to it's better like stop and consider that the intuitive answer might not be the right one after all. Yes,
Okay.
that's
Okay, Sylvia, thank you very much. Any other volunteer? Could be to answer question 1 or 2.
Teacher, I have an answer for number 2.
Okay, Jean-Claude, thank you. Let's share.
The scenario maybe in football or the football, yes,
Okay.
because the football is a difficult sport that when played with the feet, so that becomes unpredictable. For
Unpredictable.
more unpredictable, for more training tactics and studies than can be learned, in the end, the player who improvises following his instincts, accompanied by talent, is the best. A very disciplined player who thinks a lot about his actions, probably at specific moments, he doesn't get the best out of himself. Uh, because the player who improvises and is creative constantly facing unpredictable situations, and his heuristics are used to solving the situation is better than the other player.
Okay, interesting point of view and also on that field, Jean-Claude. Thank you very much. Actually, that is something true. Any other volunteer could be to answer question 1 or 2? Yes, Jessit, what about you?
Teacher, about the question number 1.
Mhm.
In the it's a short answer. In the video, the video say that the heuristic can lead to rational decision because it's based on previous experience and intuition rather than careful analysis. And the video say to quick fixes for problems. For example, other thing say in the video, this is for most human history, survival depend of making quick decision with limited information. For example, say my last partner in the soccer, you need take a fixed decision, quick decision when they playing soccer.
Okay, Jessit, thank you very much. Careful with the pronunciation based. You said based.
Okay,
Thank
base.
you. Okay,
Thank you,
Jessit.
teacher.
Thank you. Mavely, what about you? Which question? Or both?
No.
Maybe.
Teacher. Question number 1.
Okay.
For me, it's not. I believe heuristic are mental shortcuts that can help people make decisions quickly and efficiently. Well, they may not always lead to the correct option. They can often lead to a good enough choice that saves time and mental effort. However, it is important to organize that ideas can sometimes lead to errors or something like that.
Okay, Mavely. Ideas. You say ideas.
Ideas. Okay, teacher, thank you.
Very good. Great, guys. And let's finish this part with Andres Correa.
Okay, teacher, I have an answer about the first question. Do heuristics always lead to a wrong choice? For me, no. Heuristics don't always lead to a wrong choice. Sometimes heuristics can be useful in a specific situation where there is enough time or information to make a fully informed decision. But sometimes a heuristic can be useful for me.
Great, Andres. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. I know that the topic probably wasn't maybe as interesting as other topics that we have already discussed, but I really wanted to know your opinions. For the ones that didn't have the chance to share your opinion, don't worry, because today we have a lot of speaking moments, and I'm gonna ask hopefully every single one of you tonight. Let's focus our attention on our work culture. Well, as you can imagine, let me go back to the book for a moment. I'm taking as a point of reference the information that we have in here with a few adjustments to make sure that we can get the most of it. And those are pages 124 and 125, okay? Let me go back now to the presentation. These are different pictures, but it's pretty much the same essence that we have on our book. It says, individually, look at the photos of London and New Zealand and answer the questions. As usual, I dare to say as usual, after I read the questions, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to think of the answers. Question number 1 says, what do you think are the advantages or disadvantages of living in each place? The idea that you mentioned too, okay? And 2, in what ways do you think life is similar or different? For the moment, remember, we're focusing our attention only on these 2 places, London and New Zealand. Guys, do you have any questions about the instructions?
Teacher, it's clear.
Thank you very much. Well, very short and easy. Just brainstorm some ideas. 3 minutes is starting now. Think of the answers, and then I'm gonna ask some of you to share. Okay. Let's see your opinions, your answers about it. Let me ask Natalia. What do you think are the advantages or disadvantages of living on each place?
Okay, teacher. Advantages. First, most people in those countries have a better standard of living. For example, a better education or better health. And the second, those countries are cosmopolitan countries. And so you are in contact with different cultures and languages. It's a new world to learn. And disadvantages. Advantages. I think it's everything is more expensive in those countries, and you need to have a good job, earn enough money, and and no more.
Okay. That was okay, Natalia. Thank you very much.
Okay, teacher.
Let's see if Andres Felipe has similar or different ideas for the same question, number 1.
Disadvantage, it's hard to find. If I tell you I am from Latam,
Okay.
advantage, I think too many. I think
Advantages?
advantages. They have a really good style of living. I think they could find many job opportunities and also well paid. Okay. Maybe one disadvantage could be the climate.
Okay.
I think mm, in winter time it will be really harder to live there. What else? That's it. Oh, maybe I think London. I don't know. I know London, but I don't know New Zealand. The opportunity to get in a university is harder because I think they don't have public universities. So if you want to be an engineer or have a profession, it will be higher. Also harder or impossible.
Okay, harder. Yeah, because higher is más alto, so no, harder is the one that we're looking for. Okay, Andres, interesting. Thank you very much. Let's have a look at the next question, Lisette. In what ways do you think life is similar or different in those two places?
Okay, I think they can be similar because maybe there are a lot of opportunities in these places. And different because maybe New Zealand looks cleaner than London. And London seems crowded than New Zealand.
Interesting. Good. Carlos, what do you think? What ways life is similar or different between these two places?
Okay, teacher, according to the picture, it's different because, for example, London is crowded and New Zealand isn't. Additionally, for example, the place have many opportunities and I think.
Okay. Well, see, guys, thank you very much for your answers, your predictions. We are going to do the following activity. Probably you have already done it. Guys, I'm going to send you the link to this KWL chart. It's very, very important that you fill in each part of the chart according to the instructions that I'm going to give you. Please do not write down in any place that you want because then the answers would be incorrect. The question that we have that is going to be our point of reference is, what do you know about New Zealand? So, of course, we're going to watch a video, which is like the input of this part of the, this part of the book. And the instruction says, complete the first column of the KWA chart. Write down the information that you know, okay? Do not Google it. Literally, what you know about New Zealand. So, I'm gonna send you the link to the chat. I'm gonna display the image that I usually display so you know the slide that you are supposed to land on, okay? And we don't make any mistakes, I hope. So the first thing that you're going to do, guys, is to write down your names. Remember that that's like one of the first things to do, so we avoid possible confusions. There was a mini change in the number of the slides because one person already failed the course because of absences. So if you were working, for example, always on a slide 14, now maybe you are on slide 13. So look at the image before you start writing down. Guys, could you let me know if the link is working?
Yes, teacher, is working.
Teacher.
Great. So please write down your names. I'm going to give you a minute to do that. Then I will check every single slide to make sure that you are writing down your names. 1 minute is starting now. Okay, let's have a look at the slides. Let's see if you have already written down your names. Slide number 1, Gerson, Keiner, Jean-Claude, Jessit, Natalia, Andrés Correa, Andrés Corredor. Number 8, Silvia Natalia, you haven't written down your name. Johan Alberto, El Quindarillo, Julián, Ginette, Carlos, Mabeli, José, Lisette. Number 17, Ryan, que no está. Okay, very good. Let me share the slide once again from my presentation. Remember, guys, that what you're doing is to writing down the information only of the first column, what you know about New Zealand. Well, you have already started written, but I'm gonna give you, let's say, officially 5 minutes. The information that you know, please do not Google anything. After those 5 minutes, I'm going to choose some of your charts, to see the information that you know. So I keep displaying my slides so you can see the instruction. 5 minutes starting now. What you know about New Zealand. Okay, guys, thumbs up. Let's see what you have written on the first column. Porque dije que era la primera columna y estoy segura que nadie escribió en la segunda columna porque no he dado la instrucción. Wink, wink. Gerson, could you read what you wrote on the first column, what you know about New Zealand without Googling anything?
Of
Please.
course, teacher.
Mhm.
I I I write that New Zealand, I think, is a peaceful place. There are many nature, and besides, his nature is wonderful. It's a safe place. The official language is English. About your education, I think it's a high level or high education. Uh, New Zealand is next to the sea. I don't know more about New Zealand, teacher.
Okay, Gerson, thank you very much. Give me a second, maybe the noise goes off and we continue.
Sorry, teacher.
Give me a minute.
Okay.
There was some noise in the back, probably you heard something. Great. Gerson, thank you very much. You even expanded your ideas that you didn't write down, but it was great. Just one minute thing. There is much nature. You know, nature is considered uncountable. And you said your education, it's education, because we are talking about that place in particular. Thank you, Gerson. Let's have a look at a slide or someone that I haven't heard today. Johan, what do you know about New Zealand? Could you read your chart, please? Your column, sorry.
Teacher, I know New Zealand.
I know.
I know. New Zealand has a good education. New Zealand is a country.
Mm-hmm.
New Zealand has beautiful scenery.
Scenery. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what you know. That's it. Thank you. Elkin, what about you? What you know about New Zealand?
Okay, about New Zealand, I know a few things about this country. First, New Zealand is a country located near to Australia. I think this southwestern Pacific Ocean is wasn't just New Zealand and at the same at Australia has a beautiful paradise in this country. There are mountains, lake, beach, and forests. It's a tropical weather, I think. And finally, this important information about New Zealand is with the movie The Hobbit. This movie was filmed in New Zealand.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Let's have a look at a couple more. Maybe already read. Carlos, very straight to the point about what you know about New Zealand.
Yes, teacher, I have a little information about this country. I only know about this country near to Australia.
That's it.
And it's a small country, but no more information.
Okay, don't forget that because it is a proper noun. A goes in capital letter for Australia. Okay,
Okay.
that would be it. And Jose, what about you? What you know?
Okay, teacher. Well, I don't know much about New Zealand, but I have some information. First, that New Zealand is geographically isolated country. Second, that the cost of living in New Zealand can be high, particularly in larger cities such Wellington, because I have a friend in this place.
Nice.
And the country has relatively small population.
Okay, Jose, thank you very much. I'm gonna display my presentation one more time. Let's see what information I want you to keep in mind when completing the second column. You're going to watch a video about Imogen and Charlie. They are a British couple who are thinking of moving to New Zealand. You know what moving means? Basically living on that place. You are going to complete the second column. We already completed the first part, what you know. Now, in the second column, what you're going to do is to write what you know about the country, but in this case, the information related to moving to that place, okay? So it is not like any information like about whatever topic related to New Zealand, no. What you want to know, in this case, related to moving to New Zealand. Imagine that you guys are going to move to New Zealand. So what would you like to know before moving to that place related to that idea? Okay? Is it clear, the instruction, guys?
Sorry, teacher, I didn't get the explanation. Could you repeat, please?
What is the meaning of moving first? This word is very important for the instruction.
Go live in other place.
Moving is like mudarse.
Exactly. So this is the context that we have in here. These two people, they are thinking of moving to New Zealand. So now on the second column, you are going to write down what you want to know about New Zealand. But in this case, the information related to moving to that place. Okay, so for example, in the first part, you were talking about any aspect related to New Zealand, but in this case, what you want to know, thinking of living on that place, okay? Like which aspects for you would be like good to know if you were to live on New Zealand? Okay, better?
Okay, teacher.
Okay, very good. So remember, guys, that's the focus that you have now on the second column. Once again, I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. Let's see what you would like to know. Excuse me, what you want to know. Let's imagine in case that you were going to live in New Zealand. 5 minutes starting now. Let's see. Our second column, what you want to know about New Zealand. And let's say that the idea was to narrow it down in the context of moving to that place. Let's see, Lisette. Lisette, what would you like to know?
How is the healthcare system in New Zealand? What are people like there? Is it expensive to live there? And are there study opportunities for foreigners?
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Lisette. Jose, Madeline. What about you? What would you like to know in case that you were to move to New Zealand?
Teacher, maybe what is the history and the more famous tourist attractions?
Okay. Interesting.
And maybe the fauna and flora.
Okay. Nice point of view, Mabeli. Well, Carlos, in this case, you have more information. What do you want to know?
Yes, teacher. In my case, it's interesting. What interesting things there are to do relate to students, education, and job opportunities. The next is what is the cost of living, and it is possible to go without visa, and the type of food.
Type of food.
Okay.
Okay. Jeanette, what about you? Is your microphone still not working, Jeanette? Okay. I want to read them for you if you don't mind. If it's expensive to live there, I gotta get closer. Is it easy to find where to shop? Is it easy to find a way to homologate my career to work there? Important question, of course. How difficult is it to find a job or do a specialization? Okay, interesting questions. No, I actually haven't. What about you, Julian? Yes.
Then like living costs, people are racist because in these countries, like I isolist. I don't know how to say when a country is far to others.
Isolated, you mean?
Yes. Will be racist. The people will be racist. Okay.
Okay.
Requirements to contain residence status.
Okay. You know, we can't use to and can. In that case, will be to be able to obtain.
To be able to obtain. Okay.
Yeah, because the modals are a little bit restrictive. Elkin, what about you?
I would like to know about what is the food culture just in New Zealand, and what is the education system. If this education system is like in Colombia or is different, I think that is completely different, and at the same as healthcare system. And I have a question about what are the official language of New Zealand. I know that English is one of them, but I don't know if there are other languages that are considered like official. And finally, the cost of living in New Zealand. Thinking in a future to go abroad.
Would be nice.
That could be a possibility.
Of course. Good, again. Keep in mind the pronunciation of this ending, culture and future.
Culture and future.
Yeah, like, good. Okay, interesting. Elkin, thank you.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Well, Johan Alberto, you have a list. Tell us your list, please. Johan Alberto. Well, he says food, culture, gastronomy, education, customs, technology, quality of life, and universities. Would have been better to have a look at like statements created, you know? Okay, guys, very good. We are going officially to watch the video. The ones that I didn't read the information from the slide, do not worry, we will have our time. And remember the context. I was telling you that we are going to watch the video about Imogen and Charlie, a British couple who are thinking of moving to New Zealand. You are going to watch the first part of the video. I am going to stop it or to pause it on minute 3 and 35 seconds. And the idea, guys, is that you're going to take some notes about these 4 aspects that we have in here. Mabel, please, could you read the 4 aspects? 1, 2, 3, and 4, please.
Teacher, what is the meaning of emotion?
That's a name.
Okay. Number 1, Imogen and Charlie's life in the UK. 2, the lifestyle in New Zealand. 3, their family situations. 4, job prospects in New Zealand.
Very good. So guys, the idea that from these 4 aspects that are being presented, you are going to take some notes. Of course, that information is presented on the video. Okay, that is something to keep in mind. Well, actually, that was an important question. Imogen is a name that we have is considered a feminine name, just in case. By the way, before we watch the video, let's not forget that we have some information in our book. I'm gonna display it here. And these are some phrases that we are going to find on the video. We have down under, outdoor pursuits, a big pull to emigrate, sorry. Could you read the first definition, down under, Jessit, please?
Okay, teacher. Down under. Colloquial phrase used by British people to refer to Australia and New Zealand.
A colloquial phrase.
Okay.
That would be it. So when we listen down under, they are making reference to that part of the world, you know, not only New Zealand, but also including Australia. Outdoor pursuits, what's the definition of this phrase, Keiner? Could you read it, please?
Yes, teacher. Things you do outside. Example, walking, climbing, camping.
Very good. What about a big pool? Jeanette. Jeanette has had a problem with the microphone. Sorry. Julian, a big pool.
A big pool, very, very attractive.
And to emigrate, that is easily said.
To move permanently to another country.
Very good. So these phrases will be present on the video, the ones that we have here involved. On the right, well, we have, let's say, the definition, like kind of being the glossary that we need to, I hope, get that idea a little bit better. But anyway, any questions of vocabulary from the definitions, guys? Okay. I'm going back to the presentation. Remember, guys, the 4 aspects. that will be present on the video. And of course, the idea that you write down those notes and ideas related to them, because of course, we need that information that we will eventually use to socialize. I'm gonna share now my screen. Of course, talking about the video in particular. We're gonna watch it twice. Remember, guys, that I'm gonna pause the video on minute 3:35 because we only need that first part to answer those 4 aspects that I requested, okay? Questions from the instructions, guys?
No, teacher.
Great. Let's watch the video.
Every year, thousands of us are drawn to New Zealand to start a new life. It's a country renowned for its beautiful scenery and relaxed lifestyle. It's the same size as the British Isles, but with a population of only 4.7 million. However, leaving behind everything you know can be a lot harder than people expect.
Imogen Daughtry and Charlie Cowan have 1 week to see if they want to swap their lives in Kingston upon Thames for a new start down under. It will be a huge decision, probably the biggest they've ever had to make.
Home for Imogen Daughtry and her partner Charlie Cowan is Kingston upon Thames, just outside London. Imogen is a language teacher at a secondary school and Charlie works as a recruitment consultant in the city. Imogen and Charlie want to find out if New Zealand's capital, Wellington, could be the perfect place to start the next chapter of their lives. New Zealand is renowned for its extreme sports and spectacular outdoor pursuits. Okay, maybe it's not extreme sport, but Imogen has always been drawn by the outdoor lifestyle that's available in New Zealand.
I'm much rather into sail, into kayak.
However, city-loving Charlie has his reservations.
It's not amazing. I wouldn't stay out and do this for hours and hours. It's a bit boring.
I'm sure I can do things like this in the UK. I just think it's more beautiful to be able to do it here. I mean, the weather is fantastic today, and it's the middle of winter. For me, being able to do outdoor sports and things like this is a really big pull.
Today, the couple are meeting up with Imogen's mum and dad. Along with her brothers, her parents emigrated to New Zealand 8 years ago. Imogen stayed in the UK to finish studying, and now they're a big part of her reasons for wanting to move down under.
We really do love it here, and of course we would love you to come out and join us.
I think seeing my parents, today has been quite a big pull in terms of me wanting to move here. But at the same time, Charlie's parents are in Scotland, so it's going to be quite a tough decision to make.
Imogen has been given a chance to do what she loves, teach.
What do you think this says at the top? It says, Qu'est-ce que tu aimes? Teaching is my passion, it's what I love doing. So if I couldn't teach over here in New Zealand, I think I'd have to go back home and think long and hard as to whether or not a move here would be the right decision for me.
Meanwhile, Charlie is in the city for an interview at a multinational recruitment company.
I was looking for some advice on, what recruiters earn in Wellington.
A salary sort of for this type of role, again, it would depend on experience and there is a range, but it would be somewhere around the region of 60 to 70,000 New Zealand dollars, which would, if you converted it currency-wise, be about 35,000 pounds, plus commission on top of that. So the earnings could quite easily be in excess of 100,000. It's up to you. And earning of such levels in New Zealand would buy you a very good quality of life here.
That's something that I would need to think about. From what you said, it's a massive cut.
Now, as they face the final...
Remember, guys, I'm going to pause it in this part. We're going to watch it again to answer the 4 aspects that I asked you in the previous slide.
Every year, thousands of us are drawn to New Zealand to start a new life. It's a country renowned for its beautiful scenery and relaxed lifestyle. It's the same size as the British Isles, but with a population of only 4.7 million. However, leaving behind everything you know can be a lot harder than people expect.
Imogen Daughtry and Charlie Cowan have 1 week to see if they want to swap their lives in Kingston upon Thames for a new start down under. It will be a huge decision, probably the biggest they've ever had to make.
Home for Imogen Daughtry and her partner Charlie Cowan is Kingston upon Thames, just outside London. Imogen is a language teacher at a secondary school and Charlie works as a recruitment consultant in the city. Imogen and Charlie want to find out if New Zealand's capital, Wellington, could be the perfect place to start the next chapter of their lives. New Zealand is renowned for its extreme sports and spectacular outdoor pursuits. Okay, maybe it's not extreme sport, but Imogen has always been drawn by the outdoor lifestyle that's available in New Zealand.
I'm much rather into sail, into kayak.
However, city-loving Charlie has his reservations.
It's not amazing. I wouldn't stay out and do this for hours and hours. It's a bit boring.
I'm sure I can do things like this in the UK. I just think it's more beautiful to be able to do it here. I mean, the weather is fantastic today, and it's the middle of winter. For me, being able to do outdoor sports and things like this is a really big pull.
Today, the couple are meeting up with Imogen's mum and dad. Along with her brothers, her parents emigrated to New Zealand 8 years ago. Imogen stayed in the UK to finish studying, and now they're a big part of her reasons for wanting to move down under.
We really do love it here, and of course we would love you to come out and join us.
I think seeing my parents, today has been quite a big pull in terms of, me wanting to move here. But at the same time, Charlie's parents are in Scotland, so it's going to be quite a tough decision to make.
Imogen has been given a chance to do what she loves, teach.
What do you think this says at the top? It says, Qu'est-ce que tu aimes? Teaching is my passion, it's what I love doing. So if I couldn't teach over here in New Zealand, I think I'd have to go back home and think long and hard as to whether or not a move here would be the right decision for me.
Meanwhile, Charlie is in the city for an interview at a multinational recruitment company.
I was looking for some advice on, what recruiters earn in Wellington.
A salary sort of for this type of role, again, it would depend on experience and there is a range, but it would be somewhere around the region of 60 to 70,000 New Zealand dollars, which would, if you converted it currency-wise, be about 35,000 pounds, plus commission on top of that. So the earnings could quite easily be in excess of 100,000. It's up to you. And earning of such levels in New Zealand would buy you a very good quality of life here.
That's something that I would need to think about. From what you said, it's a massive cut.
Now,
Okay. Let me go back to the slide. Well, guys, we're first officially going to complete the final column. You're going to write down the information that you learned from the video about New Zealand. But for this final activity, we're going to do it collaboratively, okay? So I'm gonna send you to breakout rooms. The idea, guys, is you look at your notes, you share the information, and as a group, you are going to write down that summary. Remember our context, what you learned from the video. I'm sure that some of you also, based on other information that you have already shared, you know many things about it. But of course, the idea is that based on the input that we have just watched, you are going to complete the final column. So when you go to the slide, in this case, in your groups, for example, it says what I learned about New Zealand. Don't forget to write the number of your group. So for example, Carlos, Johan, and Keiner, you will be in group number 1. So in the final column, you're going to write number 1. To keep in mind that you guys were on the same group, okay? Guys, did you have questions about the instructions? Questions? check your silence as you have no questions. Guys, it's going to be very short because the video was short. In the moment that everybody goes to the breakout room, you will have 10 minutes to complete the final column of what you have learned about New Zealand from the video. Okay, let's start. Jose, Lisette, Natalia, any problems to go to the breakout room? Lisette, any problems? Well, guys, welcome back. Let's see what ideas you shared based on the notes that you took and, well, also based on the instruction that I provided, like what you've learned and our context, not our context, our input. Let's say that was a little bit minimum. Let's put it like that. Talking about Imogen and Charlie's point of view. Let's see. So, Kainer, you are from group number 1.
Yes,
Along with Johan and Carlos, right? Could you read what you agreed with your classmates, please?
yes, teacher. We write or we are the this of the video. Imogen and Charlie moved to New Zealand, and Imogen is a secondary teacher, and she loves to teach. Charlie works as a recruitment company, and he has an interview for a recruitment company. They want to start a new life, but it's a biggest decision. And Imogen thinks that in the UK there are better things to do because they don't practice extreme sport and outdoor sport that there are in New Zealand. And Imogen's parents immigrate to New Zealand, and the parents for Charlie lives in his country. And for the last one, New Zealand is a beautiful scenery and relaxed lifestyle.
Scenery.
Scenery? Okay.
Okay. Charlie works. Well, in this case, you summarize like the information from the video, not only focusing on the perspective of New Zealand itself. Well, actually, Imogen thinks that there are better things to do. In terms of the extreme sport, Imogen is more interested in New Zealand. Is Charlie the one that doesn't look as interested and happy? Okay?
Okay, this is.
That was it. Okay, that was like your point of view. Thank you, guys. Let me have a look at the slide 3. That is Jean-Claude. You are in group 5. Could you read the summary that you guys collected in your group, please?
Okay, teacher. In New Zealand, there is not much population, only 4.7 million of people. New Zealand has a better weather than England. And New Zealand has a beautiful landscapes. And many extreme sports are practiced in New Zealand.
Practiced.
Practice.
Okay. Okay, information about New Zealand. That was it. Thank you, Jean-Claude. And of course, group 5. Let's see. Sylvia, you are part of group number 2. Okay. Along with Andres and Gerson. Could you read your summary, please?
Yes, teacher. We learn like in New Zealand has only 4.7 million people, and there has a spectacular outdoor pursuits as extreme sports, and also like it has a really good life quality, like a good health system, and social security. I know that is the correct word in English, like for seguridad social. And yes, teacher, that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Sylvia. And of course, group number 2. Let's continue with the slide 14. This is Mabelis, group number 4. Would you share the summary, Mabeli, please?
Sure. New Zealand has an approximate population of 4.7 million inhabitants. Also has a very good quality of life and beautiful landscapes. And the high cost of living, the weather is fantastic for practicing water sport.
For practicing.
Yes.
Okay, great, Mabel. Thank you very much. And group number 3, we have Lisette. Classmates.
Okay. The population is 4.7 million people. It has a relaxing lifestyle. The weather is fantastic in winter. You can do spectacular outdoor pursuits, such as extreme sports and rowing activities. Also, it has one of the highest salaries with an average between 60,000 and 70,000 New Zealand dollars. And finally, New Zealand has a good quality of life.
Okay, Lisette and group number 3. Thank you very much for your summary. Very interesting ideas, guys. Let's go back to the presentation. Well, we have already collected some information, of course, about them. And the idea, guys, is to, let's say, to vote, you know. At the end of the video, the couple vote where they want to live. How do you think each will vote? I'm gonna send the Mentimeter to the chat. It says, you think that they choose to move to New Zealand, or you think that they choose to stay in the UK? In a moment, we're going to watch the ending of the video, but let's see what your perception is about that. If they move to New Zealand or if they stay in the UK. I'm gonna give you a minute, probably based on what you have already shared in your groups. It's easier for you to decide, but to decide, not like to predict what they had decided. 1 minute starting now. Let's see your votes in a moment. Okay. 12 votes, somos 16 menos 15. Well, 3 votes missing, but I think that the average is pretty clear. Let's use percentage, you know, it looks more elegant. 83% of you consider that they choose to move to New Zealand, while 17% choose to, or you consider that they choose to stay in the UK. We're going to watch the final part of the video. Let's see what they have decided. Am I sharing sound? Let me make sure. Yes, let's see.
Now, as they face the final vote, have they come to an agreement about where their future lies?
After everything that we've experienced here in New Zealand, our final vote goes to... UK.
Well, guys, that's their final decision. They are going to stay in the UK, although most of you considered that they were going to move to New Zealand. Of course, everybody has a different opinion and a different perspective about it, right? Guys, because most of you actually had a different thing in mind. Ay, me tengo cerrada. What would you have decided in their situation? It's the same link, you know, that I send you to the chat. It's just like a second slide on the Mentimeter. In case that you close the tab, well, don't worry. Just click on the link again and answer this question. What would you have decided in their situation? Of course, as you can imagine, guys, the idea that you are going to use the word of structure, that is like the main intention. Remember that when we use it, it's because we imagine ourselves on a situation like that. Just in case, I'm gonna send it again to the chat, although it is already there. So guys, what would you have decided in their situation? I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to answer the question, and then we're going to see how similar or different your ideas are. Guys, do you have any questions about instructions?
Yes, teacher, the situation is about the decision of the N2 video or the decision.
Yeah, like for example, they decided to stay in the UK. In your case, what would you have decided if you were in the same situation, or if you were in a situation similar to the one that was presented on the video? Like if you had exactly the same possibility, what would be your decision? To stay or to travel to the other country? Yes?
Okay.
Guys, 5 minutes. Let's see. Okay, let's see your opinion, guys. Probably there are 2 answers still left to be sent. Let's see how similar your decision is. I choose New Zealand because it's weather. Okay, because of its weather. Como por su. I would choose. Okay. I would have decided to move to Australia. Okay. In your case, you would choose Australia. New Zealand. I was expecting like the wood thing, in the answer. I would have gone to live to New Zealand because it has a better quality of life. Okay, very good. I probably would have stayed. Okay. Perdón. El orden. I would probably have stayed. Let's change the order of the words. I would choose to live in New Zealand. I prefer, bueno, I mayúscula primero, ¿no? Prefer nos da 2 opciones. I prefer to move or I prefer moving. Pero con ED no podemos. That's un ejemplo. I prefer moving to New Zealand because when you change of country, you change of the life. When you change your country, en vez de of, porque eso es muy español, como cuando cambia de país, no lo necesitamos este of acá. You change your life. También muy español, como que cambia, un cambio de la vida, algo así, creo que era la intención. But it is not necessary, like you change your life, new friend, new job, new opportunities, okay? I would go to New Zealand only on holiday and stay in the UK. Okay, interesting perspective as well. I would have decided to live in New Zealand because it's a country where I can find good opportunities in many aspects of my life. Also, I would change my environment and explore new life experiences. Nice. I would have stayed in the UK because the country has things that they like to do. Also have their families and their friends. Okay. I would have moved to New Zealand because it's a country which I can know and I could have opportunities to improve my career. Okay. Talking about that point of view as well. Nice. I would have decided to be in New Zealand. Bueno. Mayúscula. For New Zealand. I would have decided to go to New Zealand basically for my family. Also, apparently, New Zealand is a quieter country than England. There isn't so much chaos and you can enjoy the biodiversity. That was from Jean-Claude. Okay, guys? Very good. Interesting points of view. Once again, all of us have different opinion about this type of things. And it was nice to know what you were thinking about that. Well, guys, before we go, of course, we can't forget that for tomorrow, we have our final exam. And remember that on the second part, we have the speaking part. Remember that it is divided into 2 parts. The first part is individual. There will be a set of questions that you will have to answer. I will choose the questions, of course. Remember that you will have 40 seconds to answer each question. In case that you take more time, I will have to interrupt you, okay? I can't change you the questions yet, of course. On part 2, it is going to be a collaborative part. Well, I have to adjust. Esta imagen es la que tenía antes de que hiciéramos la corrección. La voy a eliminar para acordarme. Remember, guys, that the number that it was presented doesn't reflect the order, okay? I choose at random how we are going to start the listening part. I hope also, well, I know that Professor Laura Juliana already told you. Hopefully, you can be as punctual as possible so you can start the exam, hopefully without any problems, so you can have your break. And then at 8, we would start our speaking part. You know that, guys, unfortunately, there will be a final group that is going to finish around 10, and there will be the lucky group that at 8:20 has already finished, but that's how it works, okay? I'm going to keep in mind the same parameters that we had for the previous speaking. Once again, being as punctual as possible. Remember that during the first minutes of the session, I'm going to share with you the topics to be used in that collaborative part where you have to create a conversation. Of course, I'm going to take attendance as well on the first part. Guys, remember that you have to turn your camera on during the intervention. It is mandatory. If there is no camera, no speaking. I know that you know, but as you can imagine, these are things that we have to make like explicit as much as possible. When you finish the speaking part, you can abandon the Zoom meeting, nothing else to do. And well, keep in mind the instructions. Well, we had already had our first speaking, talking like with me. So you already know the drill. Just to refresh your memory, keep in mind, guys, that then we go to our break. We are actually going to have 2 days compared to the previous cycle. That means that we will be starting B1.4 on May the 4th. Okay? Guys, do you have any questions?
No, teacher.
Very good. Well, let's not forget. Well, I'm gonna do that immediately. Well, menos mal, no les envié el correo hoy. Que les iba a enviar con la lista. Something in my heart knew that I was going to make a mistake. So I will send it tomorrow. Once again, it's just like a protocolary thing to let you know that we have the speaking part and the groups will be organized on this way. This is the real organization, okay? Well, guys, based on that, that means that we don't have questions. So that would be it. Guys, I really hope that your exam tomorrow runs as smoothly as possible and that we can finish successfully this cycle. So all of you guys pass for the next one. See you tomorrow in the speaking exam. Bye-bye, guys. Take care.
Bye,
Bye,
teacher.
teacher.
Thank you.
Teacher, have a
Bye.
Good night.
good night.